Good morning, warriors. Good morning, warriors. Welcome to the lesson 4. We are going to advance in this topic. In this video, I'm going to give you two more videos that are going to help you in the topic. We are going to advance, and the topic of today is very interesting about fungi and moldy bread and the different kinds of spores. How the mushrooms, fungi, and that kind of species of plants can reproduce. And this is the topic is very important, and you're going to answer the classwork. And in the classwork, you have to make an experiment with one bread, and you're going to leave it in this week in one bag alone, and you're going to see what's going on with the moldy or fungi and the different colors that is going to appear in the bread. When you finish the experiment, you're going to throw this in one bag in the trash can, right? It's only for experiment and observation. And with the cell phone, you can take awesome pictures about the fungi. And lamentablemente, we don't have a microscope, right? But si tuviéramos uno, if we should have one, we can see, right, or the fungi, right, in microscopic view. But we are going to advance. I'm going to try to read a little bit, and I'm going to try to advance. Blowing in the wind, right? This is the topic. How did that colorful life from grow in your fridge? Right? Picture. Can you imagine? Right? The reading said the world 340 million years ago. It was a time long before dinosaurs, when the only living land creatures were insects. Tiny trees trunk reached more than 30 feet into the air. Green leaves grew from the treetops, shading the woods like hundreds of green umbrellas. No plants with seeds exist yet, so how could the trees reproduce? This is the question. Tiny spores, and this is the magic word that you have to do. Spores. In this lesson, you have to make a glossary of words, a vocabulary of words with the definition in English. You're going to send me the picture of this vocabulary. Okay, tiny spores drift from the tree's leaves. This is the first word, spores. The tree slips down to the rich forest floor below. Spores. What does mean spores? Are living cells that are transported away from the parent plant by the wind, water, or insect. Like all cells, they carry genetic information. They are often too small to see, but a large group can look like dust or smoke. Spores are strong cells because they can resist harsh conditions such as heat, cold, and lack of water. When the environment is right, they start to grow into a new plants. Plants that reproduce with spores include mosses, fungi, lichens, and ferns. Examples. Look, this is one example of our mushrooms that is opening, depend the weather, depend the sun, and depend the time. This is other picture about the fungi and how this mushroom in this case reproduce. The water make an important function. This is the spore that is inside the mushroom. This spore is like smoke or dust that are inside in this part. With this smoke that you see in here, this is the reproduction of these kind of plants, like spores transported by the wind. Right? The picture is representing the theory that Mr. Marvin already read. This is our picture. Look, this is spores, and the water can make this process. One drop contain the function or energy to broke or make a hole in the mushroom, and this mushroom can produce the spores that is like smoke, and this smoke make the reproduction of more plants. Okay, so to finish the reading, when that old bread, we are talking about bread, right? When you forgot in the back of the fridge grow moldy, right, or moldy, el hongo en el pan, cuando ponemos el pan fuera de la refri, y bueno, this is other important experiment that you're going to make. The white part is actually made of many tiny stalks, after a while small black. Bueno, I'm going to explain what's going on in this. We have a piece of bread, right, of mold. If the part of the mold have fungi or is moldy, and you can cut this part and you put it away, and you have the clean part, and you may say, está limpio, me lo puedo comer, ya le corté la parte que tenía el hongo, and you eat it. Is not correct, because the reading said that the mold can have like roots inside, and all the bread has fungi, so it's not correct to eat it. Okay, if you see a bread like this, don't eat it, because this fungi can make something bad in your blood, in your body, in your systems, and you can have really problems, right? Real problems. So most of the time we think that of mold has something unwanted and unpleasant. Certain types of mold can even be dangerous, as I told you, if they are inhaled with the air, right? Too, other molds can be useful. For example, they can be used to create flavorful cheese. It's not only in the bread, you can find it in the meat, you can find it in the cheese, in different kind of food, right? In the video that I'm going to put, you're going to understand better this topic. So fungi, moldy, is not only in bread, can be in different kind of food. In conclusion, right, many spores produce organisms like mushrooms, mosses, and ferns have alternating generations. Every other generation produces spores, but the middle generation is different. For example, you might have noticed rounds of bumps on the bottoms of first leaves. These bumps are spore cases. When they're dry out, they drop thousands of spores in the ground. When conditions are right, are small flat heart, right, shaped plants grow all out of the spores. This is the middle generation of the parents as tiny fern, which resembles in grandparents' plants. When, in conclusion, this reading said that the reproduction of spores is something like family, right? Like family plant to the father plant or grandpa plant can produce more plants. In this case, the reading related as a family of one kind of these plants. Let's go to the classroom and let's go to advanced, because the time is moving and I have 8 minutes. Okay, don't forget to write the name on the line and answer the questions. Circle the letter of the best answer below. Which of the following is not likely to be a form of transportation for sports? Cannot is not right, a form of transportation. Option A, a gust of wind, a rainstorm, a pebble in a garden, an ant crawling along the forest floor. Which one is what is a pebble in the garden? Is not to be a form of transportation. You're going to answer the correct answer. You're going to choose, right? Underline the correct answer for the two choices you are given. A mushroom is a type of spore or fungus. Spores, right, are how some organisms reproduce and move. You're going to choose only one, or reproduce or move. Super easy. Organisms like ferns and fungi have alternating generations or cycles. Super easy, right? Lichen, mold, grows on food that has begun to decay, right? Lesions or mold. Super easy too. Uy, you're going to choose the correct. And the last questions you're going to answer is about your words, your opinion, and what do you think? What are two ways in which some types of mold are useful to human being? I didn't explain this part. The penicillin is a medicine that is most of the time produced by fungi. Yeah, it's awesome. One fungi or one kind of moldy or mushroom or some kinds of these plants are medicine. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Believe it, right? It's awesome. So the penicillin is one option, and you can find other in internet if you want. What other types of mold? When say molds, refer to fungi, right, or mushroom. How is a parent generation of a fern different from the generation that comes before and after it? Ooh, there is talking about the generations and the different kinds of this case ferns, right? The other question is plants that reproduce uh, using exist before and seed hearing plants did. Ooh, what is the magic word that goes in here? The magic word. How are spores similar to seeds? Are similars or not? Are similars or not? In the flowers and the pollen maybe are similar. So you're going to explain. The magic word is the transportation is very similar. Why do parts of mushroom become visible above ground? Why? Why? Remember the mushroom moves alone. Depend the weather. How are organisms that have alternating generation different from this one is you're not going to answer this question, the 11, only until 10. Okay, the thing is that you have to understand the sport, the transportation, the family, and the medicine that we can get from mushrooms. Love you so much. Time is over. Bye bye. Por más que quise reducirlo, I have 12 minutes. Bye. Do your classwork. And make the experiment with the bread, right? Hagan el experimento con una rodajita de pan. You can use pan blanco, you can use molde, whatever, or one bread, semitas, or whatever. You can leave it with water or wet, or you can leave it out of the bag some days, and you're going to see what's going on with this fungi. Bye bye.